and tools. I think my intro got cut off. Welcome back to Witches of the Moon. It is Friday, and I'm your hostess, Natalie. Today we are discussing divination styles and methods. So this is a topic that we've kind of covered before in other veins, like we've talked about tarot, we've talked about scrying, we've talked about other sorts of things. So what I wanted to talk about was specifically how I do it when I utilize these methods. Now, my two primary methods, and it just occurred to me, I don't have a tool. One moment. And we're back. I have three primary methods of scrying that I use frequently. I have another style of divination that I use very effective. And so I'm going to just talk a little bit about what I do and how I do it. My primary method of divination is tarot. I use several decks. Actually, I don't have as many as some people, but I do have a few decks that I really like. I had the Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake, which was my favorite deck. I recently have misplaced it. I had it in my purse because I was going to do a reading for someone, and can't find it now at all, period. And what's funny is I had been waspishly keeping it in the box with the book, and I had recently made a bag for it so that I could take it with me to use for this reading, and can't find it. I do like the Halloween Tarot. I don't remember who makes this one off the top of my head, but I have the information here. This is created by Kipling West, and it's printed by U.S. Game Systems Incorporated, which we won't go there. But it comes with a very tiny little book. I never use the book. Very, very rarely. When I'm first getting to know a deck, what I will do is I keep a journal. My cousin recommended I keep a journal and just do polls and kind of see what was my impression of the card and what have you. I've always been an intuitive reader, and what that means is I don't like to ask a lot of questions. I don't like to know the specific question necessarily. I like to know the general area. Are we looking at love and relationships? Are we looking at general life? Are we looking at financial, educational, what have you? But I don't generally like to know the specific reading. I don't do readings for people about, does Susie ever love me and will she ever? Or, is Johnny cheating on me? I don't do readings like that. To me, readings are more about when you are in need of something and you have a specific guidance that you're looking for and allowing the spirit to speak to you through the cards. To me, that's what it's about. So tarot is one of those, and I really enjoy tarot. Now, this particular deck is one of my favorites. The cards are quite large. They're playing card heavy, so they're pretty nice. I love the artwork on them. The Everyday Witch Tarot by Deborah Blake is my new favorite. I love the Dreamer's Tarot, which was the first deck I was regifted after not owning one for many years. Amy Webster gifted me that deck, and I loved it. I connected with it right away, and I still do like it, and my readings with it are very good. But that is just one of the things that I do. So when I do a reading, what I will do is I will ask the person what is the general area that they're wanting to know about, and it depends a lot on whether it's like a 3-card, 6-card spread. My style is very intuitive all the way around. Like, I don't always do the same spread. If I do a 3-card spread, the meanings of the 3 cards could change, but I make sure to always explain, this is what this card represents, this is what this card represents, this is what this card represents. But it's not always past, present, future for me. Sometimes it's emotional, physical, and mental. So it's one of those things where, or advice, So I will change my readings. I create new spreads all the time. And I prefer to do my readings that way. I have one that I do more than once, something what I call a major-minor spread, which is where basically I will do it looks like a standard 12-card spread, but it's less cards. So it's not a standard 12-card spread, but essentially one of the methods that's pretty basic for reading tarot cards is you have a significator card, which is selected based on the person's age and birth sign. So for example, today is my birthday. I am 44 years old today. So if I was going to choose a significator card for myself, I would choose the Queen of Cups because I am a woman who is over the age of 18. and I am a water sign. So I would take the Queen of Cups and I would set that card in the center. And then for a major minor read, I separate out the major arcana from the minor arcana, and I will do a past, present, future, or something along those lines. So it would be like past, actually it's past, present, future. So I put the future at the top of the significator card, past to the left, and future to the right, present to the right. So I will do a reading like that, and what I'm doing is I am looking at the major arcana card, so it'll be a major arcana with a minor arcana for each position. Then I will flip over the minor arcana card first and get a general read. I'm sorry, the major arcana card. I cannot talk today. The major arcana card I turn over first because I'm wanting to know what is the base core message that the universe is trying to send about this, because your major arcana cards are your messages directly from spirit, things that you need to know that are impacting your life in a big way in terms of your personal development, whereas the minor arcana cards deal with your day-to-day struggles, or day-to-day activity. So then I will use the minor arcana card to gain a little more insight as to what area specifically I'm needing to look at that for. So I change up my readings all the time. I do keep them journaled, and sometimes I add them to my Book of Shadows. I'm really, really behind on my grimoire work. I need to sit down and write out some pages. I like to hand write mine with dip ink or calligraphy ink, so it's time consuming for me, and the past couple of months we've been hopping busy with the business, so I have not been able to do that, my primary business. But another very closely oriented method, it's very close to tarot, but it varies just a little bit, is oracle card reading. Now this is the only set of oracle cards that I own. It is the Enchanted Way or Enchanted Path? The Enchanted Map by Colette Baron Reed. And these, honestly, are probably one of the most beautiful sets of cards I've ever seen. As you can see, the edges are gilded, the cards are very thick, and they're just beautifully illustrated. And what makes these different is in a standard tarot deck, you have the 24 major arcana cards, and then you have all of the minor arcana cards, which number from 0 to like 10, and then you have a king, queen, page, knight, whatever, for each deck, so for each suit. I like oracle cards. I'm more comfortable with tarot in terms of the method of read, but I find oracle cards very good for like just a general daily draw, like what do I need out of today, or what should I keep in mind for today, or what is the lesson I'm needing for today, and I'll just draw a card. In this case, it happens to be Stuck in the Mud, and that's actually pretty it's kind of how I'm feeling today, stuck in the mud. Nothing has gone right today at all, period. This video is so late going up. I have missed all slews of clients because I had to run to Denton, which is 20 miles out of where I was. So I got one client in, had to run to Denton, and making it back out here, but I have to get to the bank, and I had to get this video recorded. There was no other time I was going to have to do it because I have more clients after that. But in any case, I find these very good for just a quick read, like a 3-card or 4-card read I will do with oracle cards. Or if I'm just wanting kind of a general guidance, I love oracle cards. And they differ because they have their own meanings. They are numbered differently. They go straight 1 through whatever, and however many are in your deck. And I find that they get more to the point than a tarot card. There's a lot less mystery to the meaning of the card because it tells you right there, like this one is feel the ouch. Now that could apply physically, emotionally, spiritually, etc. But it really, this is one of my favorite cards in this particular one. These two right here. We have Details. Remember, the devil is in the detail. And Ghostlands. I love this one. And the image I'm always getting from this one, the reading I always get from this, is when you are stuck with a ghost of the past and you're not moving forward. You're letting the ghost of something keep you behind. I've always seen that one. This is another one I like, Wide Open. So I think the meanings in these are a little less mysterious. It's pretty out there as far as this is what it's telling you. And I really like using these for simple reads. Now another thing that I use pretty frequently is a pendulum. And I'm in the process of making myself a new spirit board to use for these, but I just have a little like note card that's folded over that says yes, yes, no, no. And I use it primarily for getting quick answers to things, especially yes/no questions. Now, this is a soda light pendulum that the wonderful Houston Hellman sent me. This camera just does not do this crystal justice, to be honest with you. It is such a deep, deep blue. It's a navy blue, and it looks very faded on the camera, but it's actually stunningly gorgeous. Has a short cord, which is kind of nice, and basically it's very simple to use. I'm sure everybody here knows how to use them. Basically, you just angle it over your board, you allow it to sit steady, you ask it your question, you can speak it aloud, which is my preferred method, or you can just ask it silently, but it's going to know that. Now, a lot of people are like, how do you know you're not moving it? Well, one, you hand it steady, okay? Two, if you're really that concerned, another way I've done this is by taking a fork and sticking it into a block of styrofoam, and I slide the pendulum into that, and I wait till it's still, and then I ask it my question, and you will see it move. I did that for my husband, who was very skeptical that these worked, and it freaked him totally out. So now he's all about the magic and to use your spells and do what you got to do, which is kind of funny. But I use this method of divination primarily for quick answers to specific questions. I like it because it's very cut and dry. You know your answer right away. It's right there. And I also use it for finding lost things I've misplaced, because I'm famous about losing things. In fact, I'm so bad about losing things that, look at this, folks. This was my Christmas present 2 years ago. There's 2 of these in the package, and basically they're little sticky tabs. There's one in my wallet and one on my keys. And I have an app on my phone that helps me find the missing object. It'll actually ping it and alarm it. And if it steps out of range, it pings me and tells me that I've stepped away from whatever it is my sticker's attached to. Now, the bad part is if I lose my phone, I'm screwed, because that's the so I need one for the phone, right? It's attached to the iPad. Just I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached. But in any case, those are my styles of divination. And with oracle cards, I typically don't do as many different spreads. I will do just a straight 3 or 4 to 6 card spread. You can lay them out a lot like you do tarot cards and read them just like you do tarot cards. So you can actually use oracle cards in place of tarot cards for any read, but your reading is going to be different because it's going to be, I think, far more directed. I'm just not as comfortable with them as I am with tarot, and I think tarot takes more skill to read. But you know, people will argue with me, and I don't mean to offend anybody with that statement. I'm just saying I think it takes a lot more connection to spirit to understand and divine the actual meanings of your tarot cards than it does an oracle card. Although sometimes those are pretty mysterious too. Another style of divination that I wish I had here to show you, I thought it was in my TARDIS over here, but when I opened it up, it wasn't there. Ogham. I use the Ogham fuse, and I will take just all of the sticks and I will put them out. And there's one stave for each tree that was used, each letter of the Ogham fuse. And I will randomly select 7 of those without looking, and I will just throw them out in front of me. Now, the way that I read these, and it may not be the way everybody reads these, but this is the way I was taught, this is the way that works for me, is the closer to your body, the closer in time. The further out from you, the further out in the future. If you have 2 that cross each other, then that means that one is impacting the other, that the one on top is impacting the one on the bottom, either a blocking or an aiding of, depending on the meanings of the sticks. And if it's upside down, then it's kind of like reading a card in reverse in tarot, in that I take it as being, this is something that should be going on or is not going on, what have you. It's something that's being blocked or stopped completely. It's not present, should be. Kind of a reversal of the meaning, but not entirely. Again, it depends on what I'm getting. When I read, I don't read by the book. I don't go by what's in the guide. I go by what I intuitively feel spirit is telling me. And so my readings might fluctuate. For example, I might draw the exact same 3 cards for 2 different people in the exact same position, but depending on the deck and the impression I get from the card, the first things that come into my mind, that is what I go with in terms of my meaning of that card. And it depends a lot on the other cards that are around that card or what position it's in. So I may get a different feel or a different read from these cards compared to someone else. Now, or between two clients. my thing is that I like to cleanse or rest my cards between readings because I don't want to use the same deck one right after the other, simply because I don't want the deck to be holding on to the energy of the previous reading, because then that can skew your results. They will be less accurate if you are residual, you have that residual energy holding on. So I will either cleanse them in incense. I will cleanse them in some way with something. So, over a flame perhaps, so it's a little dangerous, I don't like doing that, but over the incense, I will put it through the incense smoke, or I will smudge the deck, clean it out. I like to rest them like overnight before I will use them again, but you don't necessarily have to. But that's one of the ways. Another method of scrying that I use that I cannot show you because I don't have one here with me. I have one that I made for myself and I'm not pleased with it, so I'm in the process of trying to make another one. Would be excuse me, my battery is just plugging me that it's dying and I don't want to die in the middle of the video, so bear with me while we deal with technical difficulties. Imagine a little colored bar line and funny music play. Okay. Another method of divination that I like to use is mirror scrying or candle scrying, and I often use a candle when I'm mirror scrying. Now, I'm not happy with my mirror. I need to make a new one. I've never consecrated the one that I currently have that I made for myself because I don't care for it. It was kind of an experimental sort of thing. I was trying to get a feel for it. I might just chuck it in the garbage, to be honest with you, because I don't even think it's good enough to give out to somebody. It's just really bad. But I was trying out a few things that I wanted to see if I could make it work, and I ended up hitting on a good method the second or third time around. So in any case, I do make my mirrors. I sell them 8 by 11, 8.5 by 11 for $25. I include all the herbs needed to consecrate the mirror and to make it effective. I also will automatically attach the snake skin to the back of the mirror to open the portal between this world and the spirit world, so on and so forth. So I also send instructions for how to consecrate the mirror and make it effective for use. Now, once it's consecrated, it should never see the light of day, literally. You need to keep it covered and only use it at night or in the dark. And I was afraid that was going to happen. Excuse me one moment. Anywho, I apologize for the interruptions. It's been just that kind of a day, folks. So in any case, I really enjoy using it. And what you do is you set up a candle in front of the mirror. You have the mirror here, and my mirrors are always self-standing, but you can hang it on a wall with a table if you want, or put it on a table against the wall, and you place a candle. I use a chime candle in front of the mirror, and you are supposed to focus on the flame within the mirror. Now, you don't have to do that either. If you have like a salt lamp, I have done this. I will turn my salt lamp on and have it sitting next to the mirror, and then you just kind of focus. And basically, this type of scrying is the same as any method of scrying in terms of execution, how you do it. Basically, when you are candle scrying or when you are mirror scrying, you are looking into the mirror and you are looking at the base of the flame. Okay, when you are candle scrying, you're looking at the candle, you're looking at the base of the flame, where the flame meets the wick. Now, the catch to that is that you don't want to stare unblinkingly into the light because you're going to fry your eyeballs. Relax yourself, blink. You don't have to for 20 minutes. You are just relaxing and you're allowing your mind to open. And pretty soon you'll notice that all of the stuff around you kind of goes black or white. For me, it goes black. It goes dark. Everything goes out and all that's there is the focus. And so you will start to see visions and get information in your mind that Spirit is sending you. Now, this method of divination does not work for everybody. I know people who've been practicing for years that cannot use that type of scrying. It just does not work for them. They have much better luck with crystal scrying, which works the same way, or water scrying, or using a tarot. They're just not comfortable with it, and that's okay. It's not for everyone. It just happens to be a very good method for me. And I do that particularly. That is a method that I use particularly If I am depressed or really troubled about something, if I'm really struggling with an issue and I want to open myself up to my ancestors and to my spirit guides for answers, then I will engage in that type of divination. Now, before I do any type of divination, I try to meditate. I use the insight timer that I talked about in the meditation video a couple of weeks ago, and I will try to just clear my mind, relax, rest, clear it out of all my personal energies, because again, I don't want my personal energies and my personal feelings and interpretations to be skewing my readings or skewing my work. So I will release whatever stress there is, whatever tensions. I will clear myself, clear my mind, and then I will go into the divination. And I will not do so if I don't feel cleansed. A lot of times I like to take a spiritual or ritual bath, cleansing bath, and I may do a video on my personal channel about this wonderful book that Michelle Breslin sent me. It was a fantastic book on all kinds of sacred bathing, sacred baths, and it had all sorts of recipes for different types of baths in there. Now, I don't bathe, I shower, and the reason I do that is this. One, I think sitting in your own dirty water is kind of gross, and it's just nasty to me. I've never liked baths for that specific reason. Mostly because I guess I was bathing with a cousin one time in the bathtub, so it's gross. But in any case, I like to take ritual showers because then I can envision all the dirty and all the stress and all the ick just going down the drain. It's rinsed out. It's not residual. It's not hanging about me. I'm not rebathing myself in it. It's down the drain. But what I will do is I will take a little sachet bag or a coffee filter, and I will hang it above the shower head, kind of off the shower head, so that the water is coming through the herbal pouch and hitting me. So I get the same effect as I would in an herbal bath, but it's all the ick is going down with it right away. There is no ick that I'm sitting in. So I like to do that. So I will take a ritual shower sometimes and then meditate, and then I will divine if I have that much time and if I feel that it's necessary. A lot of times I don't think it's all that is quite necessary. But sometimes it's good to just, cleanse yourself. And I will always meditate, even if it's just 5 minutes, just to clear my mind before I do a reading for somebody else, because I want to make sure that it is the most accurate possible and that it's clean and clear. Let me see. I feel like there was another method of divination. Going back to the topic about I don't use the cards, I take only the messages that I see. That goes back to, I have a lot of people that ask me to teach them how to read tarot, and I thought about doing a tarot teaching course. The problem I have with that is because I'm an intuitive reader, and my readings, my meanings change, and it's hard for me to teach someone how to be open to spirit. Either you could open yourself out that way or you can't. That doesn't mean that you can't learn how to read tarot, and that doesn't mean that going by the readings in the books won't be accurate, because obviously you're being guided in drawing the cards by spirit. But I just don't think the readings are quite as accurate. I really like to do intuitive readings, and again, I don't like to know a lot of detail about the people, because I don't want what I know influencing the read. I want to give them a clean read. To me, that makes it far more legitimate and accurate when you're just simply telling them, this is what I'm seeing in the cards as it applies to the situation you've indicated. Your love life, your this, your that. To me, that's far more ethical, I guess is the way of putting it. And I talked about that in the ethics video we did a while back. But those are some of my methods of divination. I like to do crystal scrying, like with a crystal ball, but to me, I want like a big ball, not one of these little bitty balls. I have a hard time scrying into a tiny, tiny, tiny little ball. Again, I use the ambient light from a salt lamp, or I will, set a candle nearby. And sometimes I even use daylight. Now, when it comes to crystal scrying, I don't mind taking that out into the sun and using it in the sun. And I some people are going to say, but the sun is just as powerful as the moon. So it really depends to me, and I make sure I cleanse my crystal ball before. Now, I have not had a crystal ball in way many years. I want one that's a good size, but I want a good quality crystal, and it's hard to come by an actual quartz crystal that you can certify is quartz crystal, that is flawless, doesn't have a great big crack in the middle. that is clean and clear and good for scrying, in my opinion. But that's what I'm comfortable with. That doesn't mean that you can't get your messages or your visions. And don't be frustrated if at first you don't get it. You know, if it takes a while for that to come to you, because it does take a while of learning how to focus your energy and opening your mind to that. So don't expect it to happen right away. But those are some of the various methods of divination that I personally use. I'm not big into water scrying, and I'm not big into tasseography, which is tea leaf reading. It's not that I'm opposed to reading that. I also don't read candle wax. That's never worked for me, and I'm not sure why. A lot of my friends do it, and in a way I'm a little jealous, but unless it's something that's flat out staring me in the face going, whoa, it's not something that I do. Fire scrying I do, but to me that's akin to candle scrying. And it was a method that the Native Americans used too, that the shamans would use fire to get visions. And my great-grandmother, being Cherokee, she had taught me that when I was very little at a family reunion. So I learned that early on, but it wasn't as a witchy sort of thing. It was Native American. So it was interesting. But I do that in the fireplace. I like to fire scry people that are staring into the fire, which is fine. That's all they need to know. I'm getting the answers I need. So really, I guess that's about it, folks. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the comments. I would love to share some of your opinions on scrying and how you do it, what your methods are, because we're all so individual that I learn things from you all when you comment back and say, gee, I do this, or oh, I hadn't thought about that, or well, have you thought about doing it this way? I love to hear that, so please give me some feedback. Thank you so much, and blessed be.